start a session with invocation prayer Sahana Bhavatu. So traditionally, this invocation prayer is chanted before any discourse, and due to pandemic, somehow we discontinued that practice. So from now onwards, before every session, we will chant this prayer. After that, we will chant the first 5 verses of chapter 10, and then we will try to understand the meaning of the prayer. What are we chanting? What is it all about? And then we will begin with the study of chapter 10. So, Makran will chant a prayer.
तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः।
Bhagavad Gita, chapter number 10. We'll chant the first 5 verses.
श्रीभगवानुवाच भूय एव महाबाहो शृणु मे परमं वचः यत्तेऽहं प्रीयमाणाय वक्ष्यामि हितकाम्यया। न मे विदुः सुरगणाः प्रभवं न महर्षयः। अहमादिर्हि देवानां महर्षीणां च सर्वशः। यो मामजमनादिं च वेत्ति लोकमहेश्वरम्। असम्मूढः समर्थ्येषु सर्वपापैः प्रमुच्यते। बुद्धिर्ज्ञानमसम्मोहः क्षमा सत्यं दमः शमः। सुखं दुःखं भवो भावः भयं चाभयमेव च। अहिंसा समता तुष्टिः तपोदानं यशो यशः। भवन्ति भावा भूतानां मत्त एव पृथग्विधाः।
So, we listen to Swamiji's commentary on invocation prayer Sahana Bhavatu. And Lakshmiji and Jigar, they will be reading from Swamiji's book, Symbolism of Gods and Rituals. So, in that book, Swamiji explains the meaning of the prayer, Sahana Bhavatu, invocation prayer. Don't worry, if you don't have the book, don't worry. So, we'll start with Lakshmiji. Makaran, you can highlight whoever is reading.
Translation. Om, may he protect us both. May he cause us to enjoy. May we strive together. May our study become brilliant. May we not become disputatious. Om, peace, peace, peace. This prayer is chanted both by the Guru preceptor, and the Shishya, disciple, before starting the study of scriptures. There are other prayers as well. The chanting of the invocations, invocatory prayer, helps us to calm the mind and tune in the subtle intellect for comprehending the philosophy ingrained in the scriptures. The human intellect is of two distinct types, viz., gross and subtle. When your intellect engages its discriminating faculty in the realm of terrestrial world, it is said to be gross. Gross intellect thinks thoughts pertaining to the world. It discriminates between the pairs of opposites, all within the boundary of the world. It could range from the simplest discrimination of a dog between its master and a stranger to the finest discrimination of a scientist in nuclear technology. But all of them are still classified as gross because its field of operation is in the terrestrial world. When, however, your intellect crosses the boundary of the terrestrial world and conceives the possibility of a transcendental reality, it is called subtle intellect. No other creature except a human being can posit the transcendental reality. This subtle intellect is the discriminating facility which contemplates upon and distinguishes the transcendental reality from the terrestrial world, discerns the difference between spirit and matter, between Atman and the world you experience through your material equipments. The common man engages his gross intellect in the affairs of the world practically all day long. He hardly uses his subtle intellect. It is therefore important to invoke and tune in his subtle intellect for understanding the deeper import of the scriptures. This is achieved by chanting the invocatory prayer. The prayer starts with Om, which represents the supreme reality, the goal of all spiritual pursuits. The protection sought by the teacher and taught is only a temporary safeguard against any disturbances that may prevent their study. The prayer is not to be understood as beggary and an outcome of lethargy. Neither the teacher nor the student means to avoid action and begs the Lord to take care of everything. Both of them will be engaged in deep study and reflection. Hence, their request to the Lord is to protect them during the period of study from any disturbances. This line conveys their spirit of surrender to the Supreme Being and their earnestness for study.
In the next two lines, they pray for enjoyment and exertion. Spiritual study can bring about results only when the preceptor and the disciple put in their best efforts. They exert their maximum to teach and to learn the knowledge respectively. The teaching and the learning are thoroughly enjoyed by both. Spiritual study ought not to be a drudgery. With the right attitude, the study becomes a pleasure. The next line speaks of the goal of spiritual study. The aim of the spiritual study is the unfolding of the Supreme Self. The Supreme Self within is at present clouded by vasanas, desires. The study, reflection, and the meditation of the knowledge contained in the scriptures help the seeker to exhaust his vasanas, desires, and bring out the brilliance of the self within. This idea is indicated by praying for brilliance. In the last line, the teacher and the taught pray there not be any hatred between them. Their appeal is necessary because spiritual knowledge is difficult to administer, difficult to comprehend, and that leads to a lot of controversy, argument, and bitterness. The prayer is meant to caution both to avoid such a contingency by being humble and refrain from egoistic and dogmatic assertions. The three Shantis chanted at the end of the prayer is an appeal to the phenomenal powers to lend peace to their hearts for the pursuit of their study. Shanti means peace. The three Shantis are directed to the three sources of disturbances that destroy mental peace necessary for teaching and learning the contents of the scriptures. The three sources of disturbances are Adi Daivikam, cosmic disturbances, Adi Bhogitvam, Bhautikam, environmental disturbances, and Adhyatmikam, inner disturbances. The first type of disturbance is from the phenomenal powers like lightning, thunder, rain, earthquake, etc. Hence, the first Shanti is chanted loudly. The second type is the environmental disturbance like noise around, animals prowling, insects crawling, etc. The second chant is softer than the first to indicate that it is directed to the environmental disturbances. The third type is disturbance springing from one's own body or mind, like sickness, worry, etc. The last chant is therefore in whispers, directed to inner disturbances. The invocatory prayer, when sincerely and devotedly chanted, prepares a proper mental climate for spiritual study and reflection.
Perfect. So we should know what are we chanting. So it's packed with meaning. So the chapter 10 of Bhagavad Gita is called the Yoga of Supreme Manifestation, Vibhuti Yoga. And it has 42 verses. And these 42 verses are divided into 4 topics. So this topic-wise division is Swamiji's research on the Gita. Is not in the original Bhagavad Gita, but it helps to understand the thought flow. Otherwise, it's rather difficult to know what's happening, what's the main message. So before we start the study from verse number 1, let's try to find out what are these topics all about. So again, Jigar and Lakshmiji, they will read introduction and the topic summary.
Introduction. The chapter's title, Vibhuti Yoga, means the yoga of supreme manifestation. This chapter contains 42 verses revealing Brahman as the source of the manifest world. Even highly evolved persons do not know the origin of Brahman. The wise, however, pursue Brahman with devotion and steadfastness until they become one with Brahman. Arjuna stands aghast at the astounding knowledge and personality of Krishna. He asks how Krishna, Brahman, manifests himself in the world. Krishna responds by detailing his, Brahman's, manifested expressions analytically. How Brahman permeates the whole universe. And towards the end of the chapter, he points out to Arjuna that the entire universe is an insignificant, infinitesimal fraction of Brahman. Chapter 10 can be summarized into 4 topics. Topic 1, knowing its supreme nature, the wise attain Brahman, verses 1 to 11. Topic 2, how does Brahman pervade the world? How does one know Brahman? Verses 12 to 18. Brahman's supreme manifestation shown analytically, verses 19 to 38. And Brahman transcends the world, a mere fragment of its being, verses 39 to 42. Topic 1, Knowing its supreme nature, the wise attain Brahman. Brahman reigns supreme. The entire universe arises from Brahman. Things, beings, and all their characteristics. Even the sages and gods do not know the origin of Brahman. But the wise, undiluted by this world, understand Brahman's absolute nature and its expression, its transcendence and its immanence. Identifying with Brahman, they maintain their supreme knowledge of Brahman until they become one with Brahman. This topic outlines the preparation, the sadhana or spiritual practice, and the meditation required for a seeker to realize Brahman within his own self. Topic 2. How does Brahman pervade the world? How does one know Brahman? Arjuna acclaims Krishna as the supreme Brahman, the primeval God, eternal and all pervading. The divine sages have acknowledged Krishna as supreme. So has Krishna himself. Arjuna pleads to Krishna, neither the gods nor demons know your divine manifestations. You alone know your real self, the source of all beings, the God of all gods, the Lord of the universe. You should now speak to me of your divine glories in your countless manifestations. How may I contemplate and meditate on your inner existence? How am I to unite with the Supreme Self through this manifested world? Krishna remains silent as Arjuna speaks throughout the topic.
Topic 3. Brahman's supreme manifestation shown analytically. In this topic, Krishna enumerates some of his divine glories in an endless list. He begins by declaring himself as the self in all beings. Beings emerge from him, exist in him, and ultimately merge into him. He is the essence in everything and every being. Like the mind is the essence in the dream, clay the essence in all clay pots, gold essence in all gold ornaments. While declaring himself as the quintessence of every being and everything, Krishna chooses himself as the very best among all species and objects. The deliberate use of the superlative, makes it easier for even the less evolved to recognize the latent glories of his countless manifestations. Topic 4. Brahman transcends the world, a mere fragment of its being. In the preceding topic, Krishna presents a grand litany of his divine glories, claiming these glorious, prosperous, and powerful manifestations as a fragment of his original splendor. Krishna captures Arjuna's attention. Arjuna requires such repetitive assertions for recognizing the divinity that pervades everywhere. Having enumerated his endless glories, Krishna admonishes Arjuna's interest in knowing all these glories as they form only an insignificant part of his entire being. In the concluding words, he rebukes Arjuna, of what use is the knowledge of these details that you seek? His rebuke implies that Arjuna, representing mankind, is missing the essential reality while he directs his attention towards the non-essentials of life.
So it becomes easy to understand the thought flow.
Oh, it was off? So they didn't hear?
Now, those who are new or relatively new in today's session. So we are studying Bhagavad Gita, and Bhagavad Gita has 18 chapters. And each chapter they highlight a set of concepts. And all 18 chapters put together, we understand the essence of life. They give us the panoramic view of life, commanding view of life, how to live life. That's what Gita teaches us. That's the main message, the central theme of Bhagavad Gita, how to live life. What is the purpose of our life? What is our true potential? Our true potential, our essential nature is infinite. That's what we read just now in the topic. So we are not this assemblage of body, mind, intellect, which all of us believe we are. So that's our true potential. That seat of infinite peace, infinite happiness is you, is me, is all of us. So how to get to that ultimate state? So Bhagavad Gita gives systematic knowledge and spiritual paths to reach that state. We often refer to Bhagavad Gita as instructions manual. You must have heard me using this word repeatedly, because none of us know how to live life. Everything in life has got instruction manual, isn't it? You buy a phone, there is a manual. You buy a car, there is a manual. You order something from Costco, there is a manual. So everything in life has got manual except our life. So Bhagavad Gita is that instructions manual for life. And the philosophy of Bhagavad Gita is called Vedanta. Why it is called Vedanta? Because the source is Upanishads. And Upanishads are part of four Vedas. They form the end portion of Vedas. And the word Vedanta itself means eternal principles of life and living, Sanatana Dharma. So these are eternal truths, what we are learning. So whether it is Bhagavad Gita, whether it is Bible or any scripture in the world, they are educating us on eternal principles of life and living. So they don't change with time or place or whatever. It's like law of gravitation. It's an all-time truth. So Vedanta is an all-time truth. It is not anybody's opinion. It is not Krishna's opinion. He is an enlightened master like Christ or Buddha, galaxy of saints and sages. So that's the backdrop of Bhagavad Gita, and we have already covered the first 9 chapters, and today we'll start with chapter 10. So let's chant the first verse number 1, Makran.
श्रीभगवानुवाच भूय एव महाबाहो शृणु मे परमं वचः यत्तेऽहं प्रीयमाणाय वक्ष्यामि हितकाम्यया श्रीभगवानुवाच भूय एव महाबाहो शृणु मे परमं वचः यत्तेऽहं प्रीयमाणाय वक्ष्यामि हितकाम्यया
Translation. To you, excuse me, the Blessed Lord said, excuse me. The Blessed Lord said, O Mahábáho, listen again to my supreme word, which I will speak to you who are delighted. for your welfare. So this chapter straight away starts with Krishna's sermon. Some of the chapters starts with Arjuna's question. So it's a continuation of thought flow from the previous chapter, chapter 9. So Krishna is telling Arjuna, I am talking to you because you are delighted to listen to me. It's all symbolic. So Arjuna symbolizes a seeker, you and me, who is interested to pursue this knowledge. And he is mentally attuned to receive this knowledge. It's quite important. Now, why he is mentally attuned to receive this knowledge? Because he has devotion. He has surrender to Krishna. That's the very backdrop of Bhagavad Gita, isn't it? Right in the beginning, the first chapter, he surrenders to Krishna. And only when he completely surrenders in chapter 2, verse number 11, the actual Bhagavad Gita starts, the sermon starts. So he has that devotion. He has completely surrendered to Krishna, his guru. Plus, he is eager to learn this knowledge. He has spirit of inquiry. That's what he means. So you need both the qualities. You have to have devotion. You have to have respect, reverence. You have to surrender. Plus, it has to be backed by a spirit of inquiry. It's not a blind surrender. So Arjuna is a qualified student. That's what it means. And traditionally, three types of students approach a teacher or a guru anywhere in the world. This is the psychology. The first type of students, they approach a teacher or a guru to show off their knowledge. Whatever knowledge they have gathered, like tidbits of knowledge, actually is nothing but ignorance. But when they go to a teacher, they try to show off their knowledge. The second type of students, they approach teacher to test him. So they go there more to analyze him or to criticize him. And only the third type of students, first two type of students, they are not students. Only the third type genuinely wants to learn. He is willing to surrender. He is eager to learn because he understands his ignorance. I don't know how to live life. I don't know what's my purpose in life. I don't know what is the supreme reality which scriptures are talking about. So therefore, he approaches a teacher with that bhavana, with devotion, with surrender, and it is backed by spirit of inquiry. So therefore, you will find Bhagavad Gita is nothing but conversation between Lord and Arjuna. It's a question and answer session. Arjuna, a seeker, he is clarifying his doubts throughout, and Krishna is educating him systematically and methodically. So therefore, Krishna is saying, I am delighted to talk to you, O Mahábáho, O Arjuna, and I will speak to you who are delighted for your welfare. My supreme word, Paramam Vacha, I will come back to it. So, student is delighted. I will speak to you who are delighted. So, student has the spirit of inquiry, and teacher is talking to a seeker, keeping in mind his welfare. Now, what is this welfare? Meaning, teacher is inspired to teach. That's what it means. Because he understands that everybody needs this knowledge. Entire humanity needs this knowledge. We are discussing the psychology here. And if you have that knowledge, how can you not share this knowledge with people who need this knowledge? Isn't it? Or any human being who is suffering on planet Earth, is due to his or her ignorance. Stress, strain, worry, anxiety, inability to face challenges of life. Though we all are capable, but how many of us have that capacity? So unnecessarily we are paying the price by stress or mental agitations or conflicts and whatnot. The root cause is ignorance. So here is somebody who has the solution. So therefore, he is inspired to teach, to share this knowledge. So it's like a doctor. He has a solution. He has the medicine for the disease. So how can he not share his or her knowledge to help people? So you have to understand it from that point of view. And so number one, inspired to teach. And second point is wishing the welfare of students is extremely important. See, how many times you have heard me saying, do not listen to previous chapters. Every once in a month, I keep on repeating. And now you're receiving the guidelines in your email. Correct me if I'm wrong. How to study. All of you have received the guidelines. No? Vijay, what is happening? People are saying no?
We didn't get it either.
Vijay?
We have sent the email, Amiji, like when the chapter 10 starts, email has the content about how to study.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, we
So
can
everybody
include
has
that.
received by default.
Everybody could have received it, yes.
Yeah, so I think you must double check your email, but you know what I am talking about. And why I am saying this because good many people who register for these classes, they want to go back to the previous chapters, and it's not necessary. This is what we keep on saying. So why it is not necessary? Because if you listen to the previous recordings, how can you focus on the present lectures, what we are teaching? So it is for the welfare of all of you. But good many students, good many people who register, they don't understand that. And if you ask me, we end up losing at least half the students because of that. But I have to do that. I have to take that stance as a teacher. That is not in their welfare because they are ignorant. They don't know what they are asking for. Number one. Number two, we have to educate all of you on the science of meditation. The entire world, perhaps, there is nobody who is educating people on what is the science of meditation. Unprepared students, they are plunging into meditation. Neither the teacher nor the taught, they have a clue of what is meditation. So Bhagavad Gita, Upanishad, they talk about the science of meditation, how systematically you prepare yourself for meditation. You cannot straight away plunge into it. It's a state, it's not a practice. So every bit of effort you put through your daily study and reflection with your systematic approach to Bhagavad Gita, it prepares you for meditation. So you have to go through Karma Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, Jnana Yoga. I'm not getting into the details. So repeatedly, I have to keep on saying this. So 50% of the students we lose because they don't get access. This is what they believe. Why are you denying access to us of the first 9 chapters? So half the people who register are gone. And remaining, whatever, 40-45% of them, they don't understand that how come you're telling us not to meditate, you're denying that meditation to us. I mean, everybody is teaching meditation. So 90 to 95% of the students are lost. You get my point? So whatever is left, 2%, 3%, that is you. And the third point is every other week I keep on repeating, there are no quick fixes. There are no quick fixes. You have to put efforts. Uddharet atmana atmanam. Man must lift himself by himself. So all these points which I mentioned just now, 3 points, they are for the welfare of who?
For us.
For the students, for the seekers. If I consider only my welfare, selfishly I'm talking about, or the cause of Vedanta in Michigan, I wouldn't be saying this. Why would I, as a teacher, lose 90 to 95% of the students? You get my point. So it's not easy to stick to your convictions. But how do you get your conviction from Bhagavad Gita? I speak to you for your welfare. So you have to understand this principle even in your day-to-day life. As a leader, whatever actions you take, whatever you are doing, any part of your life, it doesn't matter. You have to take into account welfare of others. This is how we learn. This is how we apply this knowledge in our day-to-day life. So a qualified teacher is talking to a qualified student. And what is the theme all about? What is he going to teach Arjuna, meaning all of us? Paramam Vacha, supreme word, supreme knowledge, the ultimate knowledge. So what is this ultimate knowledge? The knowledge which will help you to deal with all aspects of your life. Knowledge which will help you to face any challenge in your life. Therefore, it is called as supreme. Any worldly knowledge will not help you. It will help you in a particular area. But when you are faced with a challenge, it could be a personal challenge, it could be a challenge in your workplace, it could be a challenge in your society or community. Whatever knowledge you have, worldly knowledge you have, intelligence you have, is not going to help you to manage your life, to manage your relationships, to manage your finances, to manage any aspect of life. However successful you may be, however talented you may be, isn't it? Again, that's the backdrop of Bhagavad Gita. Who was Arjuna? Those who know, I'm asking, who was Arjuna? It's all symbolic. Who was Arjuna?
Us, the seekers.
Mm-hmm. You're right, but who was he?
A warrior.
He's struggling.
A qualified student.
Mm-hmm.
He's distraught and struggling and ready to give up.
Correct. But
He
end
was
of the day,
a warrior and a prince.
there you go. See, he was not an ordinary warrior, he was a prince. Commander-in-chief of the army, general of the army, a highly decorated soldier, not an ordinary person. So he had all the knowledge of warfare. It's all symbolic. But when situation became personal, he could not face it. He collapsed on the battlefield. So you could be the most successful person in your own field, successful, well-established, intelligent, knowledgeable, and all that. But when you are faced with a challenge, it could be anything. Challenge could be relationship at home, or it could be some confrontation in your workplace. Do you have that ability to face that challenge? You get my point? So no other knowledge is going to help you manage your life. No other knowledge is going to help you to find peace, satisfaction, contentment, fulfillment, purpose of your life. So therefore, it is called as supreme knowledge, paramam vacha. So that knowledge I'm going to teach you. Also, it is supreme because none of us know whether chicken came first or egg came first. whether a tree came first or a seed came first. Who is our father's 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 first father, if you can fix such a thing? So the entire thing is shrouded in mystery. Where you came from, what are you doing here in this world? It's a temporary sojourn. So what are you doing? What's your purpose in life? When are you going to go? We all know we have to go. When are we going to go? Where are you going to go? So we are completely ignorant of all this. We have no clue. The whole thing is shrouded in mystery. Where did the whole thing start? It's like a dreamer. Dreamer could ask, where did the dream world start? And he can go on racking his brains. He is not going to get the answer. From where this universe, from where this star, from where this galaxies. So the whole thing is shrouded in mystery. But when the dreamer wakes up, he understands. Immediately he gets the answer. That it never started. It was nothing. The erstwhile dream was nothing but his mind, his own mind, Waker's mind. So similarly, the pluralistic world which you and I are experiencing, it is solid, it is so real to us right now. Where did it start? How the whole thing started? You cannot answer that question. Only when you wake up to the fourth plane of consciousness, the state of self-realization, by your own experience, you will understand that the erstwhile world was nothing but supreme reality. Just as a dreamer understands his dream world was nothing but the mind, one mind. So that knowledge I'm going to teach you. I'm going to give it to you. So your spiritual journey starts when you understand this. Otherwise, it will never start. When you understand the extent or depth of your ignorance, you understand what is true purpose of life. When you read scriptures, you understand, obviously. So that motivates you to launch on the spiritual journey. Otherwise, why would you do that? A dreamer who is complacent in a dream, why would he put efforts to wake up? He doesn't know he's actually is a waker. Dream world is nothing but a figment of his imagination. He doesn't know. So exactly same thing is happening to most of us. So therefore, most of us are complacent in life. I got a great job, I got a great partner, no worries of income. Thank God, after 25, 30 years of efforts, finally I have paid off my house. It's fully paid for. Children are settled in life. You can give a list. So you are trying to settle down in ignorance, if you actually understand. It's like a dreamer making a statement. Thank God, finally I have settled down. Settled down where? Dreamer is making a statement, a happy dreamer, good dreamer, successful dreamer, good life. Everything is plus plus in his life. And at the age of 40, 45, whatever, it could be age of 30 also, he's making a statement. Now I can relax, I can breathe, I can enjoy my life. Where?
In the dream.
Has it got any meaning?
No.
Does it not apply to all of us?
Yes.
This is what all of us are doing. And everybody wants to settle down in life. That doesn't mean you should be miserable. Don't misunderstand. But settle down in what? Settle down in what?
Ignorance.
Settle down in ignorance. Only when you understand this, your spiritual journey will start. Otherwise, it has got no meaning. You may come and attend the lectures, you may be sincere, you may register for e-learning, you may read, you may do this, you may do that, whatever, sincerely. But if that spirit of inquiry is not there at the back of your mind, how I am caught up in this ignorance and how I have to come out of this ignorance, then whatever you do will make sense. So that supreme knowledge I'm going to teach you. This is what Krishna is telling Arjuna. And he continues, verse number 2, please.
न मे विदुः सुरगणाः प्रभवं न महर्षयः अहमादिर्हि देवानां महर्षीणां च सर्वशः न मे विदुः सुरगणाः प्रभवं न महर्षयः अहमादिर्हि देवानां महर्षीणां च सर्वशः.
Translation: neither the hosts of gods nor the great sages know my origin. They don't know the supreme reality. That's what it means. For in all respects, I am the source of all the gods and the great sages. So, hosts of gods and sages in this context means highly evolved people who are short of self-realization. That's what it means in this context. They're highly evolved people, noble people, spiritual seekers on the verge of attaining spiritual enlightenment, but they are not yet there. They have reached maybe 90%, 95% of spiritual evolution. It's like a dreamer who is on the verge of waking up, but is not woken up yet. You get the point? So only when the dreamer wakes up, he becomes the waker, he will understand the source of his dream. What was the source of his dream? In the dream, he experienced a pluralistic world of objects and beings. Millions of objects and beings were there. So only when he becomes the waker, a dreamer becomes the waker, he will understand that the dream which he dreamt previous night was what?
A figment of his own imagination.
It was nothing but waker's mind. Nothing but a waker's mind. So similarly, he's talking about highly evolved people who are on the verge of waking up to the fourth plane of consciousness or on the verge of spiritual enlightenment, but they're not there yet. So once they cross over the terrestrial, they will understand that the erstwhile world which they were experiencing was nothing but the supreme reality, one homogeneous supreme reality. So what is happening to all of us right now is we all are caught up in three conditioned states: waking, dream, and deep sleep. And these conditioned states, they are brought about because of our desires. As long as you have desires, your desires will separate you from the supreme reality. We keep on saying this. Human being minus desires equals supreme reality. So we all are caught up in the play of desires. And these desires, they manifest as three states of consciousness: waking, dream, deep sleep. Waking, dream, deep sleep. That is my life. That is your life. But what these great men, they are telling us, the scripture, they are telling us that these three states, they are conditioned states. When we say they are conditioned states, meaning they are not our original, it's not our original state. It's like a person who is drunk, he is intoxicated. So that state of intoxication is not his original state. His original state, he is a sober person, but he has slipped into that state of intoxication for whatever reasons. So similarly, we do not belong to these three states of consciousness. They are conditioned states. And the difficulty is no conditioned person knows his condition. You get the difficulty, how difficult it is to conceive who we are. We have that PowerPoint, Makaran, it becomes easy. Yeah, there you go. 1, 2, 3, 4. So the first three states, deep sleep, dream, waking, they are conditioned states. That conditioning is brought about by our desires. And when you eliminate all your desires through spiritual practices and ultimately culminating in meditation, then you go to the fourth state. It is called as Turiya. It's a state of self-realization or God realization. All these are synonyms. So since we are caught up in these three states, which are conditioned states, it is extremely difficult for us to understand, conceive what these great enlightened masters they are trying to communicate. It's like you cannot have a dialogue with a person who is intoxicated, can you? If your close friend, you go for a party and he or she gets drunk and behaving in a very weird way. So can you have a dialogue with your friend at that moment when he's drunk? Hmm?
No.
You cannot. Can you have a dialogue with a 4 or 5-year-old child about maturity? When are you going to mature, honey? When are you going to mature, honey? 4-year, 5-year old, your own child or a grandchild or a neighbor's child. Can you have a dialogue with that child? Why are you wasting your time? Why are you crying over stupid things? Sometimes we see children, for no reason, crying. Suddenly they could be rolling on the ground or whatever, throwing tantrums. Baby, come on, wake up. Why can't we do that? Same psychology. Why can't you do that? Why can't you give a lecture on maturity to a 5-year-old boy or a girl? This is a question.
He doesn't know he's immature.
He or she doesn't know she is immature, isn't it? So similarly, we do not know we are conditioned. That's the problem. And the knowledge which we are learning is a knowledge of how to become unconditioned. So therefore, good many people, they can't relate to scriptures. I mean, can't blame them, isn't it? So you have to give yourself some time. Don't be harsh on yourself. When will I come out of this conditioning? If you understand you are conditioned, that is the beginning of your journey. You must congratulate yourself. Not as a theory. Yes, I understood as a concept. No, it means nothing. Have you really understood? Has the penny dropped? At least I'm a conditioned person, but yes, my mission in life is to reach the ultimate state. And how do I reach that ultimate state? Is by eliminating my desires through the knowledge of the scriptures. So therefore, a true seeker has no value for what world has to offer mentally. So gods and sages, meaning a true seeker, who have understood that the world has got absolutely no value, and you could have best of everything. You could have all the money in the world, you could have all the power in the world, you could be the most successful person. Why not? But you have that inner sense of abstraction because you have understood the futility of what world has to offer is a conditioned state. What value you would have for a dream state as a waker now? So a true seeker, the hallmark of a true seeker is he has knowledge, the wisdom, plus he has a sense of renunciation. You get my point? A true seeker has a knowledge of what's his real worth. And due to that knowledge, he has developed a sense of renunciation towards whatever the world has to offer. And you could possess the whole world. This is where the misunderstanding comes. Many of these masters, they were kings, they were emperors. Krishna is not an ordinary person. He is an emperor. He is not a monk. Incidentally, you could be monk. It doesn't matter. But it's not that you have to be a monk or you should be nothing, then only you understand the value of the world. No, you could be the richest man in the world. You could be the most handsome or a beautiful lady in the world, the most successful person in the world. I mean, doesn't matter. But you have understood the futility of the world due to your own maturity, due to your own growth. Otherwise, ignorant people are totally attached to everything in life. You start a family, you are attached to it. You earn money, you're attached to it. You get a job, you're attached to it. You get some success, you're attached to it. You get power, you're attached to it. You get name, fame, you get attached to it. So you become possessive about whatever you contact. So these are symptoms of an ignorant person, as opposed to a person who has understood the futility of the entire world. And incidentally, you function in the world. I mean, where will you go? But with that spirit of renunciation, that's the difference. You understand, yes, I'm still caught up in a conditioned state. But my mission is to get to the unconditioned state. And that's the reason I'm born as a human being. There is a fascinating quote by E. Carpenter. All these are similar thoughts. So let's find out what E. Carpenter, he was an English philosopher. So let's find out what is he saying. Anybody wants to read that? I'm giving you the opportunity. So when you read, it is a reminder to yourself. Who would like to read this?
I can go ahead, Amitji.
Please.
Never before could I have believed it, but I see it all now. There is no happiness unless you have clean dropped thinking about yourself. But you must not do it by halves. While even there is a least grain of self left, it will spoil it all. You must just leave it all behind and vouchsafe the personality and mind that much sympathy as to any stranger, no more, no less. Bhagavad Carpenter.
Perfect. To go back to the example of dream and waking state. As long as any trace of I and my is there, dreamer cannot what? Fill in the blanks. As long as any trace of I and my is there in a dream waking state example I am talking about, as long as he holds on to his or her personality in a dream, what will happen?
He won't wake up.
He won't wake up. So similarly, as long as you are holding on to that I, my, and this is our life, we are totally infatuated to our own personality. So you have fallen in love with who? Who is the, you're the greatest lover in the world. Why?
With yourself.
with yourself.
It's the greatest love story in the world. And that is your downfall. You get a point.
Yes.
The whole thing is, in some cases, it is sickening. I, my, and you carry that like a shadow, it follows you. So how can you even make an attempt to reach that unconditioned state? Because you have fallen in love with the conditioned state. That is you. It's a fascinating statement E. Carpenter is making. So neither the hosts of gods nor the great sages, meaning highly evolved people, I'm repeating, know my origin. No dreamer knows the origin of the waking state. Only when he wakes up, he will know. When he becomes the waker, he will know. For in all respects, I am the source of all the gods and the great sages. So it's personification. Like Brahman is personified. Brahman is not a personality. Supreme reality is not a personality. It's personified. So only when we understand that what's our purpose in life, I have to come out of this conditioning created by my own desires. And due to ignorance, we go on feeding our ego and egocentric desires. That's why we read that E. Carpenter quotation. It's all about me, my, no? So you remove that I, my, that possessiveness, and then carry on with whatever you are doing with this knowledge. It's a matter of time. You will wake up one day. So these were the main points in verse number 1 and 2. So are we okay? It's time up, 10:33. Any quick?
Amitji, isn't that ego being in love with yourself and me and my and I all the time? So isn't that another word for ego then?
Correct. That is
stage
ego. This is how ego manifests. Ego, therefore, we keep on using the word ego and egocentric desires, isn't it? I, my body, my mind, my intellect, my family, my wealth, my this, my that. It is nothing but consolidation of ego. This is how it is expressed. So you're right. So that's what E. Carpenter is telling us. Crush that ego. That is where your spiritual journey starts. You could be proud of your spiritual growth, which is no growth. See, it's not easy. How you can slip? Okay, I understood. No, I am putting efforts. I have become a better human being. You could be proud of that. No use. You're equally ignorant. It's not easy to get rid of that ego. Therefore, it says, as long as you hold on to it, it says clean drop. Clean drop. But can I hang on to like this much? No, clean drop, it says.
Imagine if you cannot talk to a drunk person.
Correct.
Or a person in conditioned state,
correct.
Then how does this knowledge help?
This is what Swamiji has been saying. I mean, unfortunately, you're attending Swamiji's lectures.
Yeah.
Second cycle of e-learning. He said, last 60, 70 years I'm talking, not even one person has understood what I'm saying. This is what Swamiji is saying. Yeah. One day that effect of intoxication will be over, isn't it? How long can you stay drunk? If I drink a bottle of vodka, 2 bottles of vodka, 3 bottles, okay, I'm magnifying. How long will I stay intoxicated?
A week.
Any experts can comment on that? How long can I stay drunk?
1 week.
You probably go in coma. Don't get up.
Some stage the effect will wear off, right?
Yeah.
But some stage with this knowledge, you will, knowledge is must. And at some stage, you will start questioning. I mean, does it make any sense, my life? Why unnecessarily I am going through stress, worry, anxiety, or whatever? It's a question of more or less. Same attachment, same possessiveness about children. No matter what I say, they will never listen to me. All that same old thing. How long can you continue like that with this knowledge? At some stage, you will say, no, it doesn't make sense. The penny will drop. So that's the hope. Just keep on continuing. Hope that 3 vodkas which I have consumed, some stage effect will wear off.
Thank you.
So are we okay?
Yes.
Sure.
Yes,
Thank you.
Swamiji.
Great. So we'll,
Thank you, Amit.
so we'll
Thank you,
continue
Amit.
next week.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
Amitji.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Amit.
Amit.
Thank you, Amity.
Thank you.
Thank you, Amit.
Thank you.
Thank you, Amity. Hari Om.
Thank you.